All right, in this video, we're going to look at the algorithm for long division. So there's 5 steps in long division. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and then repeat a remainder. Dad, mother, sister, brother, rough. And again, these are the 5 steps. So we're going to see this in action. All right, 947 divided by 2. First step is to see how many times 2 goes into 9. So basically dividing 9 by 2. So this number inside the garage is the dividend. The number outside is the divisor, and your answer that goes up on the roof is called the quotient. So we're going to look at that first digits. How many 2's will fit into 9? And then we're going to write that number directly above the 9. So the answer is 4. And the reason 4 2's fit into 9 is because 2 times 4 is 8. If we did 2 times 5, we'd get 10 and we'd go over. So the next step is to use that multiplication fact, 2 times 4 is 8, and put that multiplication fact underneath the 9. 2 times 4 is 8. Put that directly underneath the 9. One of the most important things in long division is keeping everything super organized and lined up in columns. So if you're using graph paper, try putting one digit in each box to make sure that you keep it perfectly lined up. So, okay, so 2 times 4 is 8. We put that under the 9. Step 3, subtract. Draw a line under the 8. Put a subtraction symbol. Subtract 8 from 9. We get 1. So our remainder was 1. 2 goes into 9 4 times. That gets us to 8, and we're 1 away. Step 4, brother, bring down. We're going to bring down the next digit in the dividend. So the next digit is the 4. We're going to bring down that 4. I like to draw an arrow and put it next to the 1. So now we have the number 14. And now we're going to be back to the beginning. This is where you decide whether you repeat the 5 steps of division or you're done. Well, we haven't even gotten to this 7 digit yet, so we're definitely not done. We got to keep going. So we're going to have to keep going, and now we're back to the start. So now we're looking at our new number is 14, and we're seeing how many times 2 can go into 14. And we're going to put the answer up on the roof right next to the 4. So 2 can go into 14 7 times, and the reason why is 2 times 7 is 14. So we're going to put that multiplication fact directly under the 14. Ooh, there we go. I was worried about that 1. And now we're at sister, subtract. We're going to subtract the 14's. That gets us 0. But we're not done because we haven't gotten to the last digit. The last digit in the number in the garage is a 7. We haven't dealt with that yet, so we need to bring that. Now we need to bring that 7 down. And now we're seeing how many times can 2 go into 7. Two goes into 7 3 times, so we're going to put that 3 up on the roof behind the 7. We're going to multiply 2 and 3 to get 6 because that was the multiplication fact we used to determine that 2 could go into 3 7 times. And we're going to subtract. 7 minus 6 is 1. And now we have 2 choices. Either we could leave it as 473 remainder 1, or if we want to get a precise answer, let's see what we choose to do here. So bring down, look at your dividend to see if there are any more numbers to bring down. No, there's no new numbers to bring down. So we can move to step 5 and Since there are no more numbers to bring down and 2 doesn't go into 1, you have a remainder. The remainder is 1. Now, if you don't want to get a remainder, what you would do is you could add a 0.0 after the 7, bring that decimal point straight up onto the roof, bring down the 0 that you added next to the 7, so it's next to the 1. That almost looks like a 0 there, that orange thing. And then you would do 2 goes into 10 exactly 5 times, and you would get the answer 473.5. And that makes sense because if you have a remainder of 1 and you're dividing by 2, that's equivalent to an extra 1/2. An extra 1/2 is 0.5. So 473 remainder 1, or 473 and 1/2, or 473.5. Success. All right, some practice. 59 divided by 3. This right here should look like a long division symbol. I guess I couldn't find it, so I used a square root symbol instead. 3 goes into 5 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract 2. B, bring down the 9. 3 goes into 29 9 times, because 3 times 9 is 27, so the 9 goes up there. Our multiplication fact goes below it. We subtract, we get a 2, and we get 19 remainder 2, or 19 2/3. If you added 0.0 to the 59 and you kept going, you'd get 19.6 repeating. (87) divided by 5. 5 goes into 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. Now we're at the subtract and bring down stage. So subtract, you get 3, bring down the 7, 37. Now, go back to the 5, and we're thinking, how many times can 5 go into 37? 7 times. Because 7 times 5 is 35, we subtract 2, and here we're going to get a decimal. So instead of putting remainder 2, I added a 0.0 onto 87. So 87.0 is equivalent to 87, and immediately I bring the decimal point up onto the roof and put it directly above where it is in the garage. Now I bring down the 0 to make 20. 5 goes into 20 exactly 4 times. So our answer is 17.4. And if you want, you could do 5 times 4 is 20 and then subtract and get 0, and that tells you you're done. I don't think that step's always necessary, because as soon as I knew that 5 goes into 20 exactly 4 times with no remainder, I knew I was done, because I got a perfect fit. What is 870 divided by 5? Well, that would just be 174. What is 87/5 as a mixed number? Well, as a mixed number, you could do the same thing. 87 divided by 5, and you get 17. You get a remainder 2. So take that remainder, put it in the numerator. The 5 is your denominator. As a mixed number, it would be 17 and 2/5. All right, 4.3 divided by 4. Here we have a decimal in the garage, which is the dividend. You can see it color-coded over here. So let's take that decimal point and put it straight up on the roof as your first step. Once you do that, you are done with decimal points for the whole problem. You don't have to put another decimal point down. 4 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract, bring down. 4 cannot go into 3. So after you brought down the digit and you see that it can't go in, you have to put a 0 up on the roof. 4 can't go into 3, so we have to put a 0. And we have to now add another 0. That extra double 0 step you don't really need. You could have just brought this 0, added this 0, and brought it down right next to that 3. I don't know why I did that. But it still works. 4 goes into 37 times, because 4 times 7 is 28. Subtract, you get 2. Add another 0, bring it down. 4 goes into 20 exactly 5 times. So we're done. 4.3 divided by 4 is 1.075. What is 430 divided by 4? Well, it would just be the same digits, but the decimal point moved over to 107.5. It's just a little extension. Ooh, what is 927 divided by 22 rounded to the nearest hundredth? Here we're getting tricky. So we're going to follow the same process. 22 goes into 92 4 times because 22 times 4 is 88. Notice I just skipped over the 9 because 22 couldn't go into 9. So I just went to the next digit and made 92. Subtract, you get a 4, bring down the 7. 22 goes into 47 twice because that gets you to 44. Subtract, you get a 3. Now we're going to add the decimal point, bring it straight up onto the roof, bring down that 0. 22 goes into 30 once. That gets you to 22. You subtract, you get 8. Add another 0, bring it down to make 80. 22 goes into 80 3 times. That gets you to 66. 80 minus 66 is 14. We need one more digit. If we're rounding to the hundredths place, we now know it's either going to be 42.13 or 42.14, but we need this digit in the thousands place to tell us whether to round up or not. So we've got to add a 0, bring it down, get 140. 22 goes into 140 6 times, and we're going to stop there. Why should you stop there? Because we already have enough information to round to the nearest hundredth. 5 to 9 means climb the vine. So 42.136 is closer to 42.14 than 42.13. So our answer is 42 and 14 hundredths, 42.14. And we're going to pause here. Hope that was helpful. If you still need extra practice, you can rewatch the video and try the practice problems on your own. Pause it, do the problem, and then check your answer with the video.